Have you ever just stopped for a second and tried to wrap your head around how connected our world is today? I mean, it's wild. We are swimming in this nonstop ocean of information, data, trends. It's a lot. It's so easy to feel overwhelmed, right? So how in the world do we cut through all that noise and see what's really going on? Well, that's what we're going to do. Together, let's try to make some sense of this digital planet of ours. You know, to really get it, to feel the sheer scale of what we're talking about, we've got to start with the numbers. And honestly, these figures are just staggering. They paint this incredible picture of a planet that is completely transformed, basically overnight.
Okay, so first, let's set a baseline. Right now, as of July 2025, there are 8.23 billion people on Earth. Got it? 8.23 billion. Keep that number locked in your head, because what's coming next is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing when you compare it to that total.
Now get this, 5.76 billion unique mobile phone subscribers. That's not just phones, that's people with phones. It means a whopping 70% of every single person on this planet has a mobile phone. Our world isn't just connected anymore, it's mobile first. That's the default.
And of course, what do those phones give us access to? The internet. 5.65 billion of us are actively using it. That is almost 69% of the entire global population. Think about that. The internet isn't some luxury for a select few anymore. It's a basic utility for most of humanity.
And where do we all gather on that internet? Well, a lot of the time, it's on social media. There are 5.41 billion social media user identities out there. That's equivalent to nearly 66% of the world's population. It's where our social lives are, where we get our news. It's where so much of life happens now. And here it is, all pulled together in one chart from the research. When you see all these numbers stacked up side by side, the conclusion is just undeniable. We don't just use digital tools anymore. We literally live on a digital planet, which, of course, leads to the biggest question of all.
So that brings us to the real puzzle, doesn't it? With this much going on, this much data flying around every second, how do we get an accurate picture of what's really happening? Do we trust the big official reports, or do we trust what we see with our own eyes?
This right here is the central conflict for anyone trying to figure out the digital world today. It's this constant tug of war between two different ways of seeing things, the formal, official research, and the messy, lived reality of the web.
You know, this quote is actually what sparked this entire explainer. It just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures that tension, right? The advice is simple. Data reports alone aren't enough. You've got to roll with your sleeves, get out there, and see what's happening for yourself.
Let's break this down into two roles. On one side, you've got the scholar. This is the person who lives in reports, data, and formal analysis. It's all about objective measurement. It's structured, it's careful. Then on the other side, you've got the practitioner. This person runs on instinct, on spotting trends as they happen, on live observation. They've got the real-world context. It's fast, it's intuitive. So, who's right? Well, here's the secret. The most powerful breakthroughs, the biggest aha moments, they don't come from picking a side. They come from what happens when these two worlds slam into each other. That collision, that synthesis, that's where the future is being built.
Okay, let's look at some real-world examples. Hyper-personalization with AI, that's taking massive data sets, that's the scholar, to understand and predict what you're doing in real time, that's the practitioner. What about the creator economy? The data shows its insane growth, but the reality is that it's a human reaction to wanting authenticity, something people observed was missing. Or shoppable videos? That's blending data on what people buy with the real-world observation that we all just want things to be easier. Every single one of these huge trends comes from smashing those two worlds together.
So really, the big takeaway here is that this isn't an either-or situation. It's not about being a scholar or a practitioner. The real magic, the real insight, happens when you build a bridge between the two. When you use data to explain what you're seeing, and use what you're seeing to give that data some much-needed context.
And guess what? There's actually a name for this whole approach. It's called the Scholar-Practitioner Model, and it's an incredibly powerful way to make smart, clear-headed decisions in this super noisy digital world. So let's actually unpack what that means.
To put it super simply, the Scholar-Practitioner Model just means you use both the spreadsheet and your gut. You take the what from all the research and combine it with the why you get from watching how people actually behave in the real world. When you do that, you get the whole picture.
And look, here's a super simple 4-step way you can put this into practice. First, start with the data. Do your homework. But then, step 2, you have to go out and observe what's happening in the wild. Go on social media, read the comments, watch the videos.
Step 3 is connecting the dots. See where the data and the real-world behavior line up. And finally, the most important step, test your idea. See what happens, and then adapt. It's a loop. You just keep learning and doing over and over again.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to chew on. When you form an opinion or make a decision about our digital world, is your view based only on the report, or is it based on the reality? Because to really see clearly today, to really navigate all this noise, you absolutely need both.